All right, welcome back to OnOne Photo Raw 2020. And so today we're going to take a look at the culling or tagging process inside of the program. Now, if you're wondering what culling means, it's basically a way to go through your images and select out the ones that you actually want to tone or work on. Now, in this case, if you look up here on the very top, I have 1,040 images, and I was doing this so I could see how well the program could handle that many photos during the import and culling process. Now, we're not going to go through all 1,000 photos today, but I'm going to show you the basics of how this works. We're in the basic grid view window, which we get to see all the images in a grid view. Now, I'm going to actually go down to this film strip view down here. I'm going to select that. Now, what it's going to do, it's going to give me my images down here as a thumbnail. And then when I click on one, it's going to give me a preview of it up here in this main window. And that's my favorite way to go through and tag and cull images inside of really any browser. Now, to cull and tag, basically what we're going to do is you can see over here, I've starred this. I've given this image 5 stars. I can also click on this image and remove these stars. This is how you're going to cull or tag your images. You're going to give it some sort of a rating. So we can come over here and give it some stars by manually clicking on it. This little box will allow us to give it a color. This will allow us to part. And this is kind of like a rejection selection type of a thing. Or basically, we're just going to go ahead and clear out of that, and clear out of the color. You need to actually come up and hit none. There is not a quick key to do it. Now, just coming in here and manually clicking with your mouse is not really the most efficient way to do this. Before we start this process, I'm going to come up here to photo, and I'm going to show you where you can find the quick keys for doing all this. Now, if you come up here, notice that under color, we have none, but under red, it has the number 6, and then yellow has 7, 8, 9, and 0. These are the quick keys. So to add a red color to your image, all you need to do is hit the number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. And just like the color, you can come up to the rating, and the rating 1 star is 1, 2 stars is 2, and so on up to 5 stars. Now, this little symbol is the tilde key on your keyboard. Initially, I thought it was the apostrophe, but it's not. This is the tilde key. And actually, I like that because on my keyboard, it's located right next to the number 1. And in a second, you'll understand why I like its location. And actually, I like it better than Lightroom, Bridge, and Photo Mechanic because it's in a great location for me. We can also come in here and use like. So we have like, dislike, and clear. And then the quick keys are P, X, and U. I am never going to use those, but I do use the colors and the rating when I do this. The process in which I do this is I have my right hand on my keyboard, and it's on the right and left arrows. And that's so I can quickly toggle through the images. My left hand, my pointer finger is on the number 1, and you can really use whatever finger you want. And my middle finger is actually on that tilde key, which is kind of to remove what I just did. And what this is going to allow me to do is toggle through the images. If I find an image that I like, I can just hit the number 1. And you can see right here, it gave it 1 star. If I hit the tilde key, it's actually going to remove that star. I'm going to give it the star back. Then I'm going to be able to scroll through my images. And any image that I see that I like, it's going to be very easy for me to just hit 1 star. I don't care if my images have 5 stars or 1 stars. It doesn't make a difference to me as long as I am selecting that image, because in the end, it's going to make it easily for me to isolate them from the images that I do not like. And you would just basically go through all your files, giving images that you like 1 star. So we'll just kind of bump through and up here a little bit farther. And I'm obviously not going to select those images that are out of focus, and we're just going through. Now, one negative I'm going to say about this program, this rendering process as I go through is really slow. It's slower than Lightroom, it's slower than Bridge, and it's way slower than Photo Mechanic. So it doesn't allow me to scroll through these images very quickly. There's definitely a delay. Not a fan of that. So basically, I'm just going to go through here and randomly give some of these images 1 star. So we'll just give that one star and we'll kind of go ahead. You can see how this is delayed. It takes a second to keep up. And I'll give that image 1 star. And I think that's going to be enough for now. And now we're going to assume that I've gone through all my photos and anything that I like has 1 star on it. Now, what I can do is come down here to this little icon right here. And when I click on that, it's going to open up this window. And this window is going to allow us to sort our images. So what we're going to do is we're going to come right up here and I'm going to click Advanced Search. Now, right down here, you'll notice we've got the heart, rejected, stars, and colors. And this is where it's going to allow you to pick your sort function. So if I want to sort my images by color, I can do that. Now, I only selected one with a color, so only one image is showing up. I can turn that off, but I can also come up here and click on any image with 1 star now is going to be shown down here in this bottom section. If I want to go through my images and further select the ones that I want, like let's say I'm trying to decide between these 2 images right here, and I decide I want this image, I can give this one 2 stars. Then I can change this rating to 2 stars, and it's only going to show me the images with 2 stars or more. And that's going to allow me to selectively cull my images down to the ones that I just want to edit inside of the program. There's a whole bunch of different ways to kind of sort and search through your images. Anything that you see here is searchable. And if you want to turn this off, you can easily come back up here, turn it off. It will bring back all of your images and you're back to where you want to go. This is actually really fast and doing a really good job. The next thing I want to show you is this little thing right here, which is called your albums. So we're going to come up here to Album and hit Create Album. And I'm going to call this Horses, because since we have horses, we're going to do that. And I also have the ability to add selected items. So in this case, I'll select that. And basically what that means is this is going to add this image to this album. Now, when I click on this image here, notice we have a horses album. And if I was to double click that, this album is going to show me what images I have inside of that location. All right, so we are back to Acetate. And once again, I'm going to go ahead and search or sort my images, and we'll just do ones with 1 star. And what I can do is I'm going to start selecting a few of these images. We'll just actually select all these images. So I'm using the Command key. And notice we have album up here. Now I can move these images to that album. So to add these to the album, you're going to go ahead and right click, and then you're going to scroll down and you are looking for Add to Album. And then it says horses, and I'm going to select that. And now all of these images have been added to the horses album. This doesn't actually physically move all of these images to a new album. What it's do is copying the path to this location. And then you come in here and select that. If you ever just want to see the horses images, they're always going to be in this album. Now, what's the benefit of this? Let's say that you take photographs horses all the time, or your children, or your pets, or any subject. It doesn't make a difference what that is. If you were to go at the end of the year and just you wanted to find all your images on your pet dog or your pet cat, you would have to go through every single folder that you've taken throughout the year. In this case, by putting the images that you like into an album, it lets you have a whole bunch of images shot at different dates inside of one album. So you don't actually have to physically move them from the folder in which they were photographed in. So you're going to move the images to an album, and the album is going to let you display all the images of your dog or your cat that you've shot throughout the years, or whatever period of time that you've been doing it. So that's the benefit of the album. It's a quick way to get access to something that you shoot all the time. Now, if it's something and you just went and took a picture of a trip that you had one time, it's not really going to be that beneficial to create an album because you only did it one time. So in this case, I only really use albums for things that I shoot over and over and over again, and it lets me sort those images. Then at the end of the year, let's say I wanted to create a book or a calendar or something for family members with images of your children. It's one central location. It's got the images that you shot throughout the year stored in that one area, and you can easily edit and print and do whatever you want by using the albums. So those are the basics of culling or tagging your images inside of OnOne Photo Raw. And the next video, what we're going to be doing is taking a look at the edit function. So you'll notice over here, we are in browse, which is a browser is just a way to look at your images and sort them. But if you click on edit, it's going to switch over to a different menu. And now we are going to have the editing capabilities of OnOne Photo Raw. And we'll be taking a look at that next time. If this video was helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or questions, you can leave those below. And don't forget to subscribe.